Konoha, not a six-path immortal, just powerful. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 46 _ someone came after. What? Sad face. Oh, Kushina was kidnapped in Konoha? Sarutobi Hizen was also shocked when he heard Uchiha Makoto's words, and then more angry. Yes, Ing has already caught up with Katie, and he asked me to come to you, Uchiha Makoto explained quickly. White teeth. Sarutobi Hizen hurriedly said to an Umbu ninja who was on standby beside him, your psychic beast is a ninja dog. Bring me Uzumaki Kushina and Uchiha Kage. Before the safety of Uzumaki Kushina, Sarutobi Hizen didn't really care much. There are many teachers in the school, from the ninja school to Uzumaki Mido. The road is also the main road, and there is basically nothing things. Therefore, Hiruzen Sarutobi did not arrange for Umbu to specially protect Uzumaki Kushina. Of course, there are more or less other reasons for this after all. The Whirlpool clan is still there. If something goes wrong with the Whirlpool Kushina, it will certainly affect their relationship with the Whirlpool village. But in the same way, they can also find the Whirlpool family and find another child. However, there was a problem with Uzumaki Kushina, which Sarutobi Hizen didn't want to see. Yes. White Fan didn't leave directly, but looked at Uchiha Makoto. Do you have Uzumaki Kushina and Uchiha Kage here? Here. Uchiha Makoto quickly took out Uzumaki Kushina's jacket. It was also the first time for Uchiha Kage to leave Konoha. After leaving Konoha, he accelerated his speed, and now he is only limited by age. After leaving Konoha, he even untied his burden. For nearly 2 years, he has been under the burden. It has been a long time since I felt this light feeling, and his speed is constantly increasing, which is a bit embarrassing for Katie. The speed of Katie is actually not slow, but Uchiha Kage's speed is really fast today. On the other side, the Whirlpool Kushina was almost in despair at this moment, and she was actually kidnapped. Winky face. These people who took him away were big and 3 thick, and it seemed that they were not easy to mess with. Uzumaki Kushina wanted to escape, but he couldn't make up his mind at all. She knew that she was being drugged. I don't know if Makoto will find out that she is gone, and will Grandma Mido and the others come to her after that? Can you run over again? If she can't find herself, will she not be able to see Grandma Mido, Makoto, or Shadow in the future? Thinking of this, Uzumaki Kushina wanted to cry. It's just a pity that these Yunren who kidnapped her didn't care about her at all, and all they wanted to do at the moment was to bring Uzumaki Kushina to Yunren village. The problem of tailed beasts is a huge problem for the major villages except Konoha. Not long ago, the 8 tails of their village ran wild again. So far, except for Konoha, it seems that all the villages and Rensselaer's plans have not been successful. Obviously, this may be related to the Vortex clan. This guy may be born with Rensselaer's material. Some time ago, the 3 generations of Reikage arranged a messenger to visit the Vortex village, trying to get the people of the Vortex family to send their children and become their pillar force, but unfortunately, they were rejected. Originally, they planned to go to Wuchao village to kidnap people, but after that, they got the news that Konoha welcomed the candidate of Jiowei Renjuli, and that child's talent is the most outstanding. Knowing this news, the Yunren people were naturally moved. Since they had to choose the best one. Since the Whirlpool clan arranged for this child to be sent to Konoha to become the 9-tailed man Juli, it is obvious that the other party has such potential. Why don't they kidnap a ready-made one? And Konoha has lost the option of the 9-tailed man's pillar power, which is also very good for them. Don't think that Reikage is the kind of reckless person. In fact, they are shrewd in their hearts, and don't make too many small calculations. Someone is chasing after them. Just when they ran hundreds of kilometers out of Konoha, the leader of the Nin frowned slightly and turned his eyes to the rear. Looks like a kid. After Shanjin said this, the Chunin on the side also looked at it, and was surprised for a while. Are children now so reckless? Did you catch up directly? Aren't you afraid of dying? Looks like a genius of the Uchiha clan. If you get rid of him, you can catch up so quickly. I don't think you are an ordinary person. Be careful, Joinin said to Chunin next to him. Ha ha ha, what I like to deal with the most is this kind of genius who hasn't grown up yet. Chunin's face showed a hideous smile, and he was waving a long sword in his hand, and moved towards Uchiha Shadow Hak, who was chasing quickly. Cut away. King, be careful. Uzumaki Kushina was also overjoyed to see Uchiha Kage's arrival, but she was also a little worried. Uchiha Kage's strength is indeed very powerful, but this time, the kidnappers seem to be very powerful too. Is Uchiha Kage an opponent? Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 47 _ first kill. Found it. Uchiha Kage stared at the burly man who was killing him. His eyes narrowed slightly. Sure enough, is it Yunren? Unconsciously, his eyes have also become scarlet, and each eye has 3 hooked jade flowing. Shinching, be careful, this kid's strength should not be underestimated. Joinin, who was controlling Uzumaki Kushina, quickly reminded him when he saw Uchiha Kage's eyes. I know. The Chunin named Shinching looked at Uchiha Kage's direction with a ferocious look on his face. He was Yunin's Chunin, and he was even the best among Chunin. How could it be possible? This is the kind of thing that children who haven't even graduated from ninja school can handle it. Ninjas are all fought in bloody battles. They have not experienced the baptism of blood. No matter how good the hardware is, it is useless. Humph. Uchiha Kage glanced at the ninja who was tied to Uzumaki Kushina in the distance, and snorted coldly. It seemed that he was being looked down upon. Doesn't the other party feel that he is the opponent of this new city? Thinking of this, Uchiha Kage was unhappy for a while. His hands quickly formed seals, and a large number of thunder element chakras with extremely destructive power gathered in his right hand. Because chakra is too violent, Uchiha Kage's hands at this moment are like 1,000 birds singing. Under the attachment of the violent thunder element chakra, Uchiha Kage's speed has also been greatly improved. Be careful, Shinching. The joinin was also surprised when he saw this, and temporarily put down the bound Uzumaki Kushina and rushed towards Uchiha Kage. It's just a pity that his speed is still a bit slower. Uchiha Kage's speed itself is very fast. This is when he is not carrying any weight compared with the past. The speed is simply incomparable. In addition, Chidori's increased success, Uchiha Kage turned into a streamer and came to the front of the new city, just before the other party was about to chop Uchiha Kage with his long sword. The long sword was directly broken by the right hand that wrapped Chidori, and then Uchiha Kage's right hand accurately stabbed Shinching in the chest. Uchiha Kage just completed his first kill in his career. Shinching? Yunren Shangren looked at this scene in disbelief, and he did not expect that Shinching would be killed by this child so easily. Is this too exaggerated? At a young age, opened the 3-go jade riding wheel eye? And the power of that ninjutsu seems to be at least A level. What kind of monster appeared in the Uchiha family? No, we must kill this Uchiha here, which is even more important than that of the Vortex clan. After all, this Uchiha clan will sooner or later become their confidant. The Yunren are professional in this regard. Uchiha Kage took his hand back, shook the blood on his hand, and a look of disgust flashed in his eyes. Sure enough, Chidori may not be suitable for him. He still does this kind of heart-wrenching work. Not used to it. Relatively speaking, maybe the spiral pill is suitable for me. Although he personally felt that Chidori was indeed above the ordinary spiral pill in terms of coolness, Chidori was sparkling with lightning all the way. Yunren put down Uzumaki Kushina, took out the long sword behind him, and slashed towards Uchiha Kage. This time, Uchiha Kage didn't directly use Chidori to go up, but took out a long sword in a way that the other party couldn't detect. Yunren was also shocked by the scene. How did Uchiha Kage take out his long sword? This kid has a ghost. Not only is his strength too special, but he also has many secrets. Many people will use the seal scroll when they take out their weapons, but looking at the other party's appearance, they are not using the seal scroll. So how did the other party take out the long sword? And the most important thing is that if the other party uses this method to take out the detonating talisman to blow himself up, then even he will feel a headache. Yunren slashed towards Uchiha Shadow with his long sword. His attack was fast and ruthless. He knew that someone from Konoha was chasing after him, and then others would come after him. He needed to make a quick decision at that time. Not only would he not be able to complete the task, but he would also be water. Source, Group 6, 5, 6:6, 1, 8, 8. 9 feet 6 inches. Preparation, use. Turn. Group 7, 6, 6, 0:1:8, 3:2, 0, is going to be planted here. Uchiha Kage is also not nervous, of course. The opponent's strength is very strong, and in any village, Shainin is a very scarce combat power, but he couldn't stand it and he was hanging up. Ding 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 ding. Then they saw the long swords in the hands of the two constantly colliding, making bursts of noise at the same time. Under the intentional control of Uchiha Kage, Yunren gradually pulled away from Uzumaki Kushina distance. For a while, the two were evenly matched in terms of strength. It was obvious that the other party was ahead of Uchiha Kage. But in terms of swordsmanship, Uchiha Kage was ahead of the other party, which also made Yunren stunned. How did this little devil of the Uchiha clan train? If he were to know that Uchiha Kage didn't even use his full strength, he would probably collapse. And when Yunren was restrained by Uchiha Kage, Katie also came to Uzumaki Kushina's side. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 48_ When I am a vegetarian? Wow. Katie came to Uzumaki Kushina's side, and easily bit off the rope tied to Uzumaki Kushina's body, and then looked vigilantly at the location of Uchiha Kage. You know, after more than a year of training, Uchiha Ing has cultivated the Katie dog quite well. It really makes the Katie dog fight with Uchiha Fuyue. Uchiha Fuyue may not be able to fight the Katie dog. In other words, on Uchiha Kage's side, Uchiha Fuyue and a dog are actually no different. Thank you. Cutie. Uzumaki Kushina hugged Cutie gratefully. However, because of the previous drug, the current state of Uzumaki Kushina is not very good, and he is completely powerless. Then he looked nervously at the battle of Uchiha Kage. There is no doubt that this battle was the most exciting battle that Uzumaki Kushina had ever seen, whether it was Uchiha Kage or his opponent. The strength was very strong. A powerful existence is something he cannot hope to achieve at the moment. Even Uzumaki Kushina never thought that Uchiha Kage's strength would be so powerful. Sure enough, Uchiha Kage is the best. At this time, Uchiha Kage didn't know that Uzumaki Kushina was feeling his power. and Uchiha Kage at this moment was immersed in the battle with a powerful enemy. Uchiha Kage is still very happy to be able to fight for life and death with such an opponent. Ninjas are accompanied by killing. Today's Uchiha Kage's strength is good, but his fighting experience is not much at all. Even before, he has never seen blood. This is Uchiha Kage's flaw. Before, he had never fought a life and death battle with people. Usually Tsunade and Uchiha Hideki would also fight with him for training, but that kind of combat training was different from the feeling of fighting against the Shin ninja. Here, he needs to be careful and careful. If he is not careful, he may die. Ninja itself is a process of fighting wits and courage. As the battle continued, Uchiha Kage also became more and more handy, and he seemed to have become accustomed to the opponent's fighting style. At this moment, Yunren on the opposite side was also complaining. He could clearly feel the progress of Uchiha Kage. The opponent's swordsmanship was a little jerky at first, but as the battle continued, he felt that the opponent seemed to be getting more and more proficient. As a jounin, he understands that this is because the opponent has gradually adapted to the battle, and for him, this is not a good thing. He may even be unable to defeat even a child of the Uchiha family. Damn, how did this guy grow up? Even Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade, who are now in the limelight of Konoha, may not be the opponents of this Uchiha clan at the same age. No, if you can't kill this kid, you need to get out of here as soon as possible. After all, this place is still in the country of fire, and it's not too far away from Konoha. Since this young man can catch up, it's hard to guarantee that Konoha's ninja will catch up. By then, he will be dead. Yunren began to want to retreat, but even his actions began to move in the direction of their previous progress. Uchiha Kage didn't notice this at first, but as the other party's intention became obvious, a sneer appeared on Uchiha Kage's face. Want to evacuate? It's too late. Suddenly, the sword stance in Uchiha Kage's hand changed, and he slashed down at Yun Ninja from top to bottom. The Yunren hurriedly blocked, but this time was different from before. A huge force came from the sword. The power of Uchiha Kage's sword was obviously stronger than before. I don't know how much. At this moment, he can only try to hold the hilt of the sword. If he can't even hold the sword, then he really can't get along. However, what Yunren did not expect was that because of Uchiha Kage's sword, the long sword in his hand was directly cut off. Winky face. This is something that Yunren never thought of before. Not only was the sword in his hand cut off by the opponent, but the sword chi emanating from the sword came to his chest through his clothes. A stinging pain spread in the chest. Seeing the success of this blow, Uchiha Kage's attack has also become more and more fierce, picking up, straight stabbing, and cloud swordsmanship. At this moment, Yunren can only throw the broken blade and do all kinds of evasion. At this moment, he is very regretful. At the beginning, he probably shouldn't have competed with the opponent in swordsmanship. However, at that time, it was also because the opponent was young and he had an advantage in physical fitness. Similarly, swordsmanship was also what he was good at. However, this young man of the Uchiha family doesn't talk about martial arts. His strength is better than he imagined, and the sword in his hand is definitely a rare sword. And if you read it correctly, the huge force just now is a legendary strange force. It is hard to imagine that a person from the Uchiha clan could actually use the strange force, which is simply incredible. But now, he has no chance to regret at all. Uchiha Kage's attack made him complain. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh so much I love you. Episode 49_roots come? Yunren already wanted to escape at this moment. This idea of escape was stronger than at the beginning. He turned and ran quickly in the direction of the land of thunder. Want to run? Uchiha Kage snorted coldly, hit a thunder wedge with his left hand, and threw it towards the position where Yunren was running, then disappeared directly in place before the other party could react. And then before the other party could react, he appeared at the position of lay wedge, and at this moment, Yunren happened to run to the position of Uchiha Kage. Uchiha Kage stabbed out with a sword under Yunren's incredible gaze. Uchiha Kage's long sword just stabbed Yunren's neck. Yunren looked at Uchiha Kage in disbelief, and then fell heavily on the ground. It's just that Uchiha Kage also showed a smile at the corner of his mouth when he saw this. The flaws of the thunder wedge are not small. He cannot throw the thunder wedge farther than himself, and at the same time, he cannot mark too many thunder wedges at the same time. However, lay wedge also has its own advantages, and relying on the star do homing, in the battle, it is indeed an unusual body snap technique, and even Uchiha Mirror's body shifting technique is not as good as the star do homing. After all, there are still traces to follow. As long as you observe carefully, you can still see some problems. After solving Yunren, Uchiha Kage came to Uzumaki Kushina's side, squatted down and asked, "How is it, Kushina, are you okay?" "Fortunately, I just can't use all the strength." Kushina looked at Uchiha Kage gratefully. If it wasn't for Uchiha Kage, I'm afraid he would really be finished this time. Once the female ninja is taken away, the end is not much better. Maybe it's because of the drug. After you go back, let Mr. Tsunade do a physical examination for you. Uchiha Kage was not surprised by this. Why don't you need some medicine? I'll take you back. Uchiha Kage didn't wait for Uzumaki Kushina to speak, and a princess hugged Uzumaki Kushina directly. This sudden behavior also stunned Uzumaki Kushina. Her little face also turned crimson. She rubbed her little hands, and also hung her hands on Uchiha Kage's neck. "Katie, take those two back." Immediately afterwards, Uchiha Kage said to the Katie next to him. Katie said that he was a little confused, and the two corpses were not light at all. If it was just one person, Nuru Katie might be able to do it, but if it was two people, that was really embarrassing for Katie. It said that he is indeed not a human being, but Uchiha Kage is a real dog. It seems that someone is coming. Suddenly, Uzumaki Kushina said in a slightly nervous tone, huh? Uchiha Kage squinted his eyes. In fact, Uchiha Kage discovered these people earlier than Uzumaki Kushina, but the identity of these people made Uchiha Kage uncontrollable. Then I saw a group of Umbu running from a distance. It's just the malice emanating from these guys that makes Uchiha Kajichi stunned. These guys are definitely not ordinary Umbu, but other people, so this is the route. Thinking of this, a sneer appeared on Uchiha Kage's face. At this time, he finally understood why Konoha's garrison did not keep up after running such a long distance. Perhaps behind this, there are other people doing things. Danzo, so is all this your plan? Do you want to control the Uzumaki Kushina? Or, there are other designs. Yukihage, hand over Uzumaki Kushina to us. The matter here has nothing to do with you, the ninja who took the lead said in a cold tone. If you let me hand it over to you, I will hand it over to you. Isn't it that I have no face? Besides, I killed the other party, but you all ran out at this time. The act of picking peaches is too much. Is it obvious? Uchiha Kage said with a playful smile on his face. You are going to resist Umbu's order. The ninja who took the lead glanced at the two dead ninjas, but he didn't take it too seriously. Uchiha Kage's strength was not bad, but it was only good. They have always been paying attention to Uchiha Kage, at most the strength of Chunin. Can he be killed by Uchiha Kage, and still be able to turn the world upside down? Seeing that Uchiha Kage was unwilling to cooperate, he released his own momentum and prepared to teach this guy a lesson. As for killing Uchiha Kage, it is impossible. If this is the case, then don't say it is him. Yes, even Danzo-sama will encounter huge troubles. What these ninjas didn't expect was that Uchiha Kage stood still in the face of their aura, just looking at each other silently. And Uzumaki Kushina shivered in Uchiha Kage's arms. She didn't know why Uchiha Kage refused to give herself to the other party. Obviously not for reward or something. Maybe these people have problems themselves. That's right, Uchiha Kage just wanted to take him back, and the other party refused to accept it. Obviously, these guys may be bad people. Uzumaki Kushina said that she was not stupid at all. She saw through everything. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 50_White Fang makes a clearance. If my guess is correct, you shouldn't be from Umbu, right? It's my Uncle Danzo's subordinate, right? Uchiha Kage said with a sneer. Hearing Uchiha Kage's guess, those root ninjas burst out with a strong murderous aura, locking onto Uchiha Kage's body. As expected of you. Uchiha Kage chuckled. Since the other party is from Danzo, it is impossible for him to hand over Uzumaki Kushina to these guys. I have a mission from Hokage-sama personally protecting Uzumaki Kushina. Are you going to disobey Hokage-sama's orders? Uzumaki Kushina pursed his lips in Uchiha Kage's arms. Uchiha Kage is a real guy, and he won't find a better excuse and reason for lying. What else did you say? To accept Hokage's mission, to protect yourself. How old is he? Didn't even graduate. Hokage-sama, how could it be possible to arrange Uchiha Kage to protect himself? It's impossible to think about it, not to mention that Uchiha Kage is someone recognized by Mito's grandma. Presumptuous. Those root ninjas were also angry when they heard the words. Whether Uchiha Kage received the order of Sarutobi Hizen, they didn't know, and even suspected it was still very possible. But the other party used the identity of Hokage to press them, which made it a little difficult for them to accept. You know, their roots have always only listened to Danzo-sama's orders, not Hokage's. Now Uchiha Kage is pressing them with Hokage's orders. Isn't he humiliating them? I think you are presumptuous. Uchiha Kage's 2-3 God Jade riding wheels stared at the boss. Since he has offended Danzo, Uchiha Kage doesn't mind giving the other party some information about himself. After all, the matter of opening the 3 Goose Jade riding wheel eye by oneself is destined to be hidden. The corpse of the ninja has a very high research value secret. The matter of Sanguyu is destined to be hidden if, water capital. Source, Group, 6, 5, 6, 61, 8, 89, 6, Stand by use. Turn, Group, 7-inch 6, 6, 0, 1, 8, 3, 20, and his own real trump card will not be exposed in front of Danzo. The boy opened his scarlet eyes, facing the powerful aura of the root ninja, still maintaining it. This also makes it difficult for these root ninjas to ride a tiger. Should I defeat Uchiha Kage first? Take away Uzumaki Kushina? Uchiha Kage himself is also struggling, how much strength he wants to expose to these root ninjas. One thing to say, when facing Yunren before, he did show a good strength. But that is not Uchiha Kage's real strength. If it really breaks out, it may not be impossible to defeat or even kill these root ninjas. After all, when there are many ninjas, they are fighting intelligence warfare, and these guys don't know their own intelligence. And at this time a sharp blade chi erupted from a distance, affecting their side, and approaching at a fast speed. When he saw this leading figure, the corner of Uchiha Kage's mouth twitched slightly. It was really the right time. If he took a little longer, he might have killed all these guys. White Fang. Uchiha Kage's mouth showed a smile. Sure enough, the other party came to Uchiha Kage at a very fast speed, looked at the root ninjas, and said in a cold tone, "We Umbu will handle this here." There was an unquestionable tone in his tone, which made these root ninjas even more angry, but at this moment they did not dare to act rashly. After all, they still know White Fang's name. There are rumors that White Fang's strength may have reached that level now that Lord Danzo is not there. None of them are White Fang's opponents. The other root members turned their attention to the leader, and the leader glared at Shirato and Uchiha Kage before gritted his teeth and said, "Withdraw." Then they evacuated at great speed. Seeing their departure, Uchiha Kage was also slightly relieved, at least for the time being. He hasn't completely torn his face. However, there is not much time left for yourself. I didn't expect that you were able to recognize them as roots and didn't hand over Uzumaki Kushina after seeing roots leaving. White Fang also turned his gaze to Uchiha Kage, showing a satisfied look. With enough talent and good brains, White Fang really wanted to let the other party into his squad if he could. It's a pity that none of this can be decided by oneself. I know a little bit about the roots. If you hand Kushina to them, it will be troublesome. I am afraid that Kushina's life will be ruined. It might even be better to let her be taken away by Yunren, Uchiha Kage said with a wry smile. Uzumaki Kushina was also horrified when he heard the words. What did he hear? Root? Is it so scary? It seems that I still don't know enough about Konoha. When I go back, I need to ask Grandma Mito. You killed these two Yunren? At this time, White Fang also turned his gaze to the two corpses. A strong thunder-type chakra erupted, and it should be a sword injury. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 51 _ I have a Uchiha shadow that can rival thousands of troops. Well, luck is not bad. Uchiha Kage's mouth showed a smile. Those guys like to use the means I am good at against me. I remember that there was a Chunin spy who wanted to use illusion to deal with you, but you controlled it in turn? Illusion, thunder ninjutsu, and swordsmanship, how much are you good at? After saying a word, he took out 2 seal scrolls and sealed the corpse inside. Only then did he look at Uzumaki Kushina and Uchiha Kage. How about it, can I still go? Kushina seems to be poisoned. I have no problem here, I can just carry her back. Uchiha Kage said quickly. Okay, Hatake Tsukumo didn't refuse this time. The mission originally required him to act. Now that Uzumaki Kushina has been rescued, and Uchiha Kage has nothing to do, this mission can be regarded as over _ As for Uchiha Kage, who wants to hold Uzumaki Kushina, that's fine. Hatake Tsukumo won't take care of the couple's affairs. After all, Hatake Tsukumo still understands people's hearts. The three of them took Katie and returned all the way. Along the way they came, they didn't say much along the way. After all, neither Uchiha Kage nor Uzumaki Kushina were familiar with Hatake Tsukumo. With Hatake Tsukumo on the side, it was inconvenient to say anything more between Uchiha Kage and Uzumaki Kushina. However, Hatake Tsukumo was also testing Uchiha Kage along the way. He not only chose to accelerate once, but found that Uchiha Kage could keep up with his own speed on. This proves that Uchiha Kage's speed is already faster than the average Chunin. It didn't take much time. A few people returned to Konoha. Uchiha Kage was responsible for sending Uzumaki Kushina to the hospital, and it happened that Tsunade was on duty in the hospital at the moment, so she was responsible for solving Uzumaki Kushina's body problem. And Hatake Tsukumo returned to the Hokage office to return to life. You mean, when you arrived, the shadow and the root people were confronting? Listening to Hatake Tsukumo's report, Sarutobi Hizen's face also became extremely ugly. As a Hokage, he usually seems to be very talkative, but don't underestimate Sarutobi's political tactics. When it comes to politics, among all Hokage generations, only the second Hokage Senju Tobarama is better than him. Even among the Hokage of the entire ninja world, Sarutobi Hiden is one of the top 3 existences compared to political means. After hearing Hatake Tsukumo's report, Sarutobi Hizen was furious. It's not that he's angry with Uchiha Kage, but Sarutobi Hizen is quite satisfied with that kid's performance. If he really doesn't check for a while, and gives Uzumaki Kushina to those roots, then at that time, even if it's Sarutobi Flying Sun / will also have some troubles. Just why did Danzo's roots arrive at the scene earlier than Tsukumo? It's not like Tsukumo's speed is too slow, right? This is almost impossible. You must know that Tsukumo's strength is currently in Konoha, and the person who is stronger than him is definitely no more than the number of one hand. The other party definitely set off earlier than Tsukumo. Under such circumstances, Danzo didn't even come to inform himself, which made Hiruzen Sarutobi very angry. Obviously, Danzo had an idea for Uzumaki Kushina. Even, Mito-sama has not passed away yet. Danzo, this guy, began to miss Kwa. How can Sarutobi Hizen not be angry? Even Sarutobi Hizen felt that the reason why these Jin ninjas were able to kidnap Uzumaki Kushina was also due to Danzo during this process. Did Danzo really do nothing? It is difficult to guarantee that Danzo knew the identities of those spies long ago, and chose to turn a blind eye, and wait until they kidnapped Uzumaki Kushina before choosing to do it. Damn Danzo, why do you have to do this? Fortunately, I have the General Uchiha Kage, who can defeat thousands of troops. Yes, if the subordinates don't arrive immediately, a fight may break out between the two of them. After thinking about it, Hatake Tsukumo continued, "Are you fighting?" Sarutobi Hizen sighed, and then said again, "By the way, you said that the two ninjas were killed by Uchiha Kage?" According to the situation at the scene, it was indeed killed by Uchiha Kage, and one of the ninjas was killed by a sharp sword piercing his throat from an angle. It should be Uchiha Kage, those Umbu's height is not so short. Hatake Tsukumo said eloquently. Similarly, the other one's chest was pierced, which just fits Uchiha Kage's height and hand size. The subordinates speculate that it should be done through a special thunder ninjutsu, maybe even original ninjutsu. Original ninjutsu? Sarutobi Hizen thought of the seduction technique that Uchiha Kage had shown him back then. That kid is indeed very talented in ninjutsu. Creating a ninjutsu is not difficult for Uchiha Kage. At least in Sarutobi Hiden's view, Uchiha Kage is on his own ninjutsu still very talented. However, this time, it's time to reward Uchiha Kage. Well, it's one thing to save Kushina, and it's another thing to not let the root succeed. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 52 as expected of you, Hizaki. If Uzumaki Kushina falls into Danzo's hands, his side will definitely be affected, and he will even be passive in many aspects. Sarutobi Hizen is also a little helpless. I don't know when it started. It seems that there is no tacit understanding between himself and Danzo before. The will to protect Konoha together seems to be slowly changing. Whether it's Danzo or him, they seem to be at work, and they all have some personal emotions. Beating these people directly, even propagating war, and making those guys and the ninja village behind them pay the price. This is what Danzo is best at. You go and examine these corpses. After thinking about it, Hizen Sarutobi said to White Fang, who was beside him. Yes. White Fang left immediately. Originally, he wanted to raise some doubts, but looking at Hokage-sama, it seemed that he was worried for nothing. Hokage-sama, you understand everything. As expected of the Hokage-sama. Just as Sarutobi Hizen was thinking about it, the door of Hokage's office was opened. Danzo walked in directly, and then sat down on the sofa, even if he didn't even do the basic knocking on the door. In the past, Sarutobi Hizen wouldn't care about these things. After all, the friendship between him and Danzo was a deadly friendship except for his wife. Everything else could be shared. Danzo, can you give me Hokage? Sarutobi Hizen, sorry, Hokage is my wife. But this time, Sarutobi Hizen felt a little uncomfortable inside. Danzo was too presumptuous. This time, Kage Uchiha has gone too far. Just before Sarutobi Hizen could say anything more, Danzo took the lead and said, not only did he leave the village without an order, he was dealing with those ninjas after that. He refused to cooperate with the personnel I sent. If it wasn't for the fact that he was the son of the mirror, my people have already shot at him. Konoha's ninja, without order, can't leave Konoha, but Uchiha Kage is not a ninja yet. He has not graduated from ninja school. Sarutobi Hizen chuckled. Also, he protects Uzumaki Kushina's. I also gave the order. But there is one thing that I am curious about. Why those two young ninjas could take away Uzumaki Kushina without knowing it. You know, Konoha has the perception barrier that Mito-sama designed at the beginning. Uchiha Kage was perceived. Why the two Yunren were not perceived? Then there must be a problem with the enchantment class. Damn. These guys are actually collaborating with the enemy and betraying the country. You must investigate it carefully. Why don't you leave this matter to my roots to investigate? After Sarutobi Hizen's words, Shimura Danzo also showed a gnashing look. It seems that those guys really have the behavior of collaborating with the enemy and betraying the country. Seeing this scene, Hiruzen Sarutobi sighed silently. He knew Danzo, and I'm afraid this matter is really inseparable from Danzo. This made him very sad. When did Danzo become like this? At this time, he really wanted to give Danzo a good warning, but he also understood that, according to Danzo's character, since he did such a thing, Danzo would definitely not leave behind. It's better to do nothing than to fool around to investigate. No, I have already handed this matter to White Fang, Sarutobi Hizen said in an unquestionable tone. As for the reason why the enchantment class did not find out, I will investigate it later. I heard that the two young ninjas, one is Chunin and the other is Shainin, Uchiha Kage can defeat or even kill them. Uchiha Kage's strength cannot be underestimated, but now he is still studying at the ninja school. It seems like you are hiding something. Hayazaki, why don't you investigate it? Afterwards, Shimura Danzo pointed out again. Today, he naturally cannot deal with Uchiha Kage for no reason. After all, Uchiha Kage is not an ordinary person. He is the son of Jing, and the contacts left by Jing are still very high. When Hiruzen Sarutobi became Hokage, Kagami made a lot of contributions. Today's Uchiha Kage seems to be valued by Uzumaki Mito, and it is not an easy thing to target. His strength, I have always known. Facing Danzo's provocation, Hizen Sarutobi waved his hand, joking, Uchiha Kage is my person. How could it be possible for you to provocate so easily? Originally a year ago, he had the strength to graduate, and he was even better than the ordinary Chunin, but he still didn't graduate immediately after. Sarutobi Hizen continued, huh? Danzan was also a little confused. He said, water. 6 foot, stand by, use, middle. Turn group 766018320. Consciously think that Sarutobi Hizen is looking for an excuse, but after seeing the other party's appearance, Danzo knew that Hizen didn't lie. and he knew Sarutobi Hiruzen since what the other party said, it was true. Then he thought about the problem of Uzumaki Kushina again, and he also understood for a while. I'm afraid Uchiha Kage was right. He himself was entrusted by Sarutobi Hiruzen to protect Uzumaki Kushina. Who would have thought that a student who has not yet graduated is the one who truly protects Uzumaki Kushina? As expected of you. Day cut. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 53_Be My Disciple, Shadow. For a while, even Danzo thought of a lot of things. As expected of his lifelong enemy, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Are you planning to let Uchiha Kage and Uzumaki Kushina come into contact like this? Danzo snorted coldly. I believe in shadows. Facing Danzo's question, Hiruzen Sarutobi said with a smile, isn't that pretty good? If it weren't for Uchiha Kage, this time, Uzumaki Kushina might have been taken away by Danzo. Do you really think you can't even see through these? Danzo, people always grow up, and I'm not the same Sarutobi Hizuchi I used to be. Just keep pampering him. Tuanzang snorted coldly. Without saying a word, he stood up and walked towards the door. Looking at the back of his old friend leaving, Hiruzen Sarutobi squinted his eyes, but he didn't say any warning words after all. In the recent period of time, he was also a little uneasy in his heart. It seemed that other countries were going to make big moves. I hope it wasn't the same as what he was worried about. After handing Uzumaki Kushina to Tsunade, knowing that she was fine, Uchiha Kage also went to Hokage's office. No matter what reason he had before, it was always wrong to break out of the village. No matter what, his background was hard as well. This time, you did a good job. Seeing Uchiha Kage's arrival, Sarutobi Hiruzen showed a satisfied look. Although I am a little impulsive, but sometimes, it is indeed necessary to rush to the right. Actually, I was a little reckless, but at that time, I couldn't control myself. Uchiha Kage said, a little embarrassed. He didn't know what the other party was talking about, but he just had to admit his mistake. The leader's speech is always correct. If at this time, the fool stands up and asks, what did he do wrong, that is the real stupid thing. I understand that sometimes, between rules and emotions, there are indeed impulses. Isn't your behavior this time a manifestation of the will of fire? Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head slightly and said, this Uchiha Kage was also a little embarrassed by what he said. However, your strength surprised me a bit. I knew before that your kid is very talented and will be very strong, at least one level stronger than other students in the school, but I didn't expect that you would be like this excellent immediately afterwards. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed a little. I haven't experienced bloody battles, but it's hard to grow. Obviously, if you had become a ninja earlier, your growth rate might have been faster. Actually, I still really like being in school. At least in school, I can read with peace of mind, live my life, and enjoy life. In the same year I like being in school very much. Uchiha Kage said in a serious tone. Ordinary students may not like school, especially those who are scumbags, who are also eager to graduate and become ninjas. But Uchiha Kage is different. He likes the feeling of being in school very much. He has his partners and friends here. He is a scholar and can enjoy the life of learning safely. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded slightly when he heard the words. He naturally understood what Uchiha Kage meant. Although he never went to a ninja school, in the days before he became an official ninja, apart from training every day, he was really happy, let alone the children of today. He can understand Uchiha Kage's mentality. This child is different from the ordinary Uchiha clan. He did make a lot of friends in the ninja school. There were also a lot of fetters. It's just that this is a waste of Uchiha Kage's talent, plus some information that Umbu has investigated during this time. Sarutobi Hiruzen has a premonition that the storm is about to come. It seems a little too late. After thinking for a while, Sarutobi Hiruzen asked abruptly, King, would you like to be my uncle's disciple? What? Winky face. This time, even Uchiha Kage showed an unbelievable look. Become a disciple of Sarutobi Hiruzen? Even Uchiha Kage hadn't thought about this matter before. As the mirror's son, he was indeed taken care of by Sarutobi Hiruzen, and the other party did what an uncle should do. Just like at the beginning, when he had a conflict with Uchiha Fugaku, Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately went to Uchiha Kage's house to support Uchiha Kage. It's just that Uchiha Kage feels that it should be impossible for him to be accepted as a disciple by Sarutobi. After all, the disciples of Hirosaki Sarutobi have grown up thoroughly and become the best among the new generation. Of course, they were not as good as White Fang, but if they were given time to grow up, they might not be much worse than White Fang. Some people say that Baiyu was suppressed by the third generation because of his high reputation. This is somewhat groundless after all. Sanren was already Sanren at that time, and with their support, what comparison did Baiyu take? Besides, White Fang really didn't understand politics. The possibility of him being a victim of politics is much greater than the possibility of being killed by Hiru Sarutobi. I didn't think about this at first. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with some confusion. Originally, I wanted you to become Orochimaru's disciple after graduation, but at that time, you will form a team with Shimshudi. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 54_Shadow, you are the heir to the will of fire. Shingshu is your friend, and his talent is no worse than his sister Tsunade. He can follow in your footsteps and become your teammate. As for your remaining teammate, I actually don't have one. Think about it. Following Hiruzen Sarutobi, he said with a wry smile, however, your second teammate is hard to find. I originally wanted to choose among the commoners however, the most outstanding commoner ninja of your class is Minato. He has become a disciple of Jiraiya. As for the others, I have not found anyone who can follow those who walk in your footsteps. Uchiha Kage also nodded slightly when he heard the words. During this time period, Sarutobi Hizen obviously cultivated Orochimaru as his heir. If Orochimaru becomes Hokage in the future, then his disciple status will be different. Although Rope Tree is not a clan ninja now, and the Chansho clan is gone, but there are some things that everyone does not need, and pretending to be confused. Uchiha Kage is a genius of the Uchiha clan in the future. As their teacher, Orochimaru, he can get the support of the two families in the future. It will not be so abrupt for Orochimaru to become the fourth generation. Then it is very important that the remaining disciples are civilian ninjas. In fact, since Sarutobi Hizen took office, he has been suppressing the ninja family intentionally or unintentionally, and then cultivated ninjas born of civilians. Whether it is Jiraiya or Orochimaru, they are civilian ninjas, and the same is true for the future Namake's Minato. Later, I thought about letting Kushina, Hizu, Rizai, or Makoto join your team in the future. Of course, that's just a way out of nowhere. Sarutobi Hizen sighed softly. He breathed, and then said again, however, your performance this time gave me other ideas. Your strength is actually enough, what you lack is ninjutsu and the control of ninjutsu. If you can master some of it, your strength will be greatly improved in the future. In the ninja school, some of your talent is wasted. You really should come out and do the quest. Uchiha Kage continued to be a little silent after hearing the words. One thing to say, Sarutobi Hizen still knew him quite well. He really lacked combat experience, which was the main reason why the previous Shinren could fight with him for so long. If you have a little more combat experience and don't need to hide more strength, I am afraid that the other party will not be able to fight with you for so long. So I plan to be your teacher. In fact, apart from Orochimaru, among the Konoha, at present, the most suitable person to teach you is me. Then Sarutobi Hizen said again, I was born with 5 this kind of chakra attributes, coupled with the wheel eye, and excellent physical fitness. In the future, your achievements may even be higher than mine. You are too modest. Uchiha Kage said quickly, in my opinion, you are the ceiling of a ninja who does not use the bloodline limit or special physique. There is one thing to say, the Sarutobi Hibiki in this era is still very powerful. Many fan fictions like to belittle Sarutobi Hizen. In fact, anyone who has played Ultra Storm and beat K with Sarutobi Hibiki knows how violent this old man is. In Uchiha Kage's view, Sarutobi Hiden, Onogi, and the third generation of Megrakage should be between 5 and 5. Don't underestimate Sarutobi Hizen too much. When he was in his 50s, when facing Orochimaru, who was in his 30s and 40s, Sarutobi Hizen was sure to kill the opponent. You know, Orochimaru is famous for its ability to survive. Haha, isn't it? Then I should be proud of myself, but if it's the third generation Megumi Rakage, it's very difficult for me to defeat him. Sarutobi Hizen chuckled. However, as I witnessed the first generation Megumi Hokage with my own eyes, the person who fought with Madara Uchiha, that gave me a deep sense of powerlessness. I think you have a chance to grow to Madara Uchiha's height, and of course, I also believe that you won't be like him. Konoha is my home, and Madara Uchiha is wrong. He is too proud, thinking that only he can see through the truth of the world, but what he sees is only what others want him to see. Uchiha Shadow smiled noncommittally. What he was talking about was the slate issue, but Sarutobi Hizen thought of his teacher, Senju Tobarama, and he nodded slightly and said, indeed, the teacher did have a prejudice against Madara Uchiha at that time. Even after he became Hokage, he suppressed the Uchiha family for a long time. After all, the younger brothers of the teacher died because of Uchiha, and even the first generation was seriously injured after the battle with Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Kage nodded slightly when he heard the words in the animation. Senju Hakuma seems to have easily crushed Uchiha Madara, and there was even a famous scene of touching the head of a 9-tailed dog. But what does the animation team know about Hokage? In the anime, the fight between the two sides is indeed very tragic, and Kianshizuma is even half abandoned. But later, he still accepted your father as a disciple, and he is very optimistic about him, thinking that your father is the one who truly inherited the will of fire. Then Sarutobi Hizen continued, now I accept you as a disciple. I also believe that you will be the one who inherits the will of fire. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 55_Hello, Sarutobi Sensei. Sarutobi Hizen's words were full of sincerity, and Uchiha Kage was also in a trance. Don't look at Hokage's frequent cases of killing teachers. In fact, the relationship between teachers and disciples is still very close. It can even be said that the disciple is the successor of the teacher in some respects. It is no worse than father and son. As Hokage, the time I can teach you is limited, and I'm going to let you not only study with me, but also let Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and the others take you with your talent. You can definitely catch up with them quickly. At least it won't be a hindrance, Sarutobi Hizen said with a smile. After that, you will really join the Sarutobi team. I do. Uchiha Kage said directly without hesitation. He doesn't think it's bad for him. To be a disciple of Sarutobi Hizen is almost detrimental to him. However, do I need to graduate early? Uchiha Kage then looked at Sarutobi Hizen worriedly and asked, "No need." Sarutobi Hizen shook his head slightly, "At least not for the time being. For the next month, I will teach you an hour or two every day after dinner." "Yes." Uchiha Kage said quickly. Uchiha Kage was accepted as a disciple by the 3 generations of Hokage, and this matter was quickly publicized in Konoha. This also caused an uproar. The disciple of the 3 generations of Hokage. This is really too surprising. So far, the 3 generations of Hokage have a total of 3 disciples, namely Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru. They have now become the outstanding shainin in the village. In the current village, the youngest genin records, chunin records, and even shainin records are all held by 3 people. This is enough to prove that their excellence. Sarutobi Hizen will not open the back door for them in this regard, nor can they afford to lose face. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru have become so good, so what about Uchiha Kage? It is said that Uchiha Kage is the smallest existence in the Uchiha family who has opened the wheel, and even defeated Uchiha Fugaku, who is a few years older than him and is known as a rare genius in 100 years. Under such circumstances, how outstanding would Uchiha Kage's talent be? If, water? Resource, group, 6, 5:6:6, 1, 8, 8, 9, 6, prepare, use, medium, go to. Group? 7 foot, 6, 6, 0 inch 1, 8, 3, 2, 0? You were accepted as a disciple by Hokage-sama? And Uchiha Hideki also found Uchiha Kage for the first time, and his face showed a look of joy. During this period of time, the relationship between the Uchiha family and the Hokage lineage was actually not particularly good, especially because of the death of Uchiha Kage. Uchiha Kage hadn't grown up, and their doves also lacked the key to maintaining the middle. There is quite a trend of drifting away if it continues to develop in this way. Perhaps those doves who have a heart for the village will gradually be pulled into neutrality, or even hawks. But the situation is different now. Uchiha has become a disciple of Hokage, which is like the fact that Mirror was accepted as a disciple by the 2nd generation Hokage. There is a connection between their Uchiha clan and the Hokage lineage. This is the best thing to do. Yeah. Uchiha Kage nodded slightly. After that, I will study with Mr. Sarutobi for a while, and then go to perform tasks with senior sister and senior brother. Well, work hard. After thinking about it, Hideki Uchiha continued, if you can graduate early, don't graduate early during this time, whether it is inside the village or outside, it is not very peaceful. In the past few days, the guards have already caught more than 10 spies. This frequency is obviously much higher than before, and it seems that other villages seem to be frequently mobilized. Perhaps the war is not far away. If you are in school, you may be able to stay away from this war. Uchiha Kage was also silent when he heard the words, is it war? That might be the second ninja war. In the original work, there is no clear explanation, but it seems that it should be this period of time. Sanin's age is about the same. What about the Vortex family? When he thought of the Uzumaki family, he thought of the old man and Uzumaki Mido again. Maybe he would find an opportunity to talk to the old man about the Uzumaki family. There is indeed no relationship between the Uzumaki family and Uchiha Kage, but there is a relationship between him and Uzumaki Mido and Uzumaki Kushina. Uzumaki Mido has indeed helped himself a lot along the way. There are some things that I can't help myself after all. I am now a disciple of Hokage. Uchiha Kage shook his head slightly and said, however, Mikoto's words can let her study step by step. Alright. Uchiha Hideki didn't say much about this either, as Uchiha Kage said, sometimes, he really has to. In a hotel in Konoha, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru gathered together and drank wine. Compared to Jiraiya and Tsunade, who drank wine so boldly, Orochimaru took a small sip. Take a sip. Orochimaru, don't be depressed, although Uchiha Kage can't be your disciple, but the junior brother is not bad. Seeing Orochimaru drinking more than usual, Jiraiya is also facing Orochimaru. Comforted. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 56 _ The shocking shadow of Uchiha. Idiot. Orochimaru glanced at Jiraiya speechlessly. Does he seem like the kind of person who would be upset by such a thing? You must have underestimated yourself a little too much, right? Although, he is indeed a little uncomfortable in his heart. Before, Orochimaru also thought that he became Uchiha Kage's master, which was almost a certainty, but now he was cut off by his own teacher, which made Orochimaru not know what to say. However, Mor is still thinking about the intentions of their teachers. For a long time, he had a kind of admiration for Sarutobi Hizen, and he also thought about his teacher's intentions. He understood that his teacher was not the kind of person who changed the order of the day. Thinking about it, it was because of some special reasons that the teacher made a change. Of course, Orochimaru is also acceptable for junior and junior high school students after all. It is impossible for the teacher to take Uchiha Kage out to perform tasks frequently. When the time comes, the task will naturally fall on them. For these, Orochimaru does not reject it, but at this time, he is more curious. What happened? He turned his eyes to Tsunade, who was drinking on the other side. The other party had a better relationship with Uchiha Kage. Thinking about it, he would know something? It should have something to do with Kushina. After thinking about it, Tsunade still said, that kid is enough to kill Jounin, and there are already some problems with Orochimaru as the teacher. Orochimaru was also a little silent when he heard the words, "Did he kill Jounin?" Sure enough, Uchiha Kage is better than he imagined, but if that's the case, everything seems to make sense. After all, people have grown up and are even enough to kill J-nin. I am afraid that such an existence can only be taught by teachers. The current self is indeed not qualified. Thinking of this, Orochimaru's heart was also relieved a lot. He could still accept this explanation. It's just that killing J-nin in such a small way, that guy is a little too open. As the smallest Genin, Chunin, and even Shanin's records are maintained, and Orochimaru said that he has something to say. At that age is their constraint, and physical fitness affects their growth. Whether it is physical fitness or chakra, it is actually affected by chakra unless it is someone with extraordinary talent. Otherwise, you let a child compete with adults in strength, which is a bit embarrassing for them. This is based on the long-term training of both sides. At the beginning, he was also restricted by his age. But now it seems that Uchiha Kage is very good. This is definitely not something that the blood of the simple Uchiha family can do. It can only prove that Uchiha Kage is really too good. Furthermore, during the battle, he showed excellent swordsmanship, as well as the extremely lethal A-level ninjutsu. Then, Tsunade continued, that ninjutsu should be created by him. When it comes to this matter, Tsunade is also stunned. Even her, she didn't know before that Uchiha Kage created his own A-level ninjutsu, which is really annoying. That little devil even concealed himself. What? This time, both Orochimaru and Jirai were also shocked. They all know the difficulty of creating their own A-level ninjutsu. Is that kid a monster? Don't underestimate the difficulty of creating advanced ninjutsu. Don't look at the original book. Kakashi created Chidori when he was 12 years old, but in fact, this is the relationship that Tsukumo helped him lay a solid foundation. Uchiha Kage once also observed by Ye's swordsmanship. He was fast, accurate, and ruthless in terms of subtlety. It was indeed not as good as Master Carving's swordsmanship piercing effect. In Uchiha Kage's view, Chidori is more like a summary of White Fang's swordsmanship and a new version. Kakashi completed Chidori, at least half of it was due to Hatake Tsukumo. I also just found out about this. Tsunade spread his hands and said, I was also surprised when I first found out. Both Jiraiya and Orochimaru were silent. The two silently picked up the wine glasses, then tacitly touched each other, and then drank them all. The feeling that Uchiha Kage gave them was too deep. Anyway, how much they were hit. Of course, Jiraiya also thought of other things at the moment, and he still has a book of concierge Sarutobi in his hand. Before, he had observed himself above, and it was exactly the same as Uchiha Kage's, and he had not seen this book elsewhere, which meant that the one in his hand was probably the only one. This book is most likely written by the kid Uchiha Kage. That kid seems to be very talented in writing novels. He is also a human being. Could the gap be too big? Because he became a disciple of the third generation of Hokage, Uchiha Kage obviously received some special treatment. Just like the next day, when he came to school, he could feel the envy, jealousy, and hatred from other classmates. Obviously, everyone wants to be a Hokage disciple. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 57 vs Orochimaru? Did something go wrong? Congratulations, Kage. Uchiha Kage just sat down on his seat, and little son waved phone. Minato said sincerely. Obviously, he also knew that Uchiha Kage had become a disciple of the third generation Hokage, so now, does he need to call him his uncle as well? This made Namake's Minato also a tangle. After all, he and Uchiha Kage are good friends along the way. Uchiha Kage has actually helped him a lot. Even Uchiha Kage has mentored himself a lot before, so it is actually a doomed thing for Uchiha Kage to become his elder? Thank you. Uchiha Kage didn't go to discuss the issue of seniority with Namake's Minato, but just turned his eyes to the rope tree on the other side. Before, he thought that he would be in the same class as Shinshu. After that, even if he went to the battlefield and had himself by his side, he could save Shinshu. But he never thought that he would become a disciple of Sarutobi Hizen, and would not be a disciple of Orochimaru, let alone join Orochimaru's team. In such a situation, Uchiha Kage really didn't know how to save the rope tree. It's impossible not to let the rope tree go to the battlefield, right? He is serious about saving the rope tree after getting along for a few years. Uchiha Kage also regards the rope tree as his friend if he wants to save the other party. It is not only because of the problem of ordering the red envelope, but also because of the relationship between the two parties. Very nice. And Uzumaki Mito is even better for himself. By the way, how was Kushina yesterday? Immediately afterwards, Uchiha Kage asked the rope tree again. Is it Kushina? She was kidnapped and ingested some special drugs, which was solved by my sister. But because of some relationship, she may not be able to come to school for a while after that. Shangshin hands out. Uchiha Kage showed a thoughtful look. Maybe it was Uzumaki Mito who was tutoring Kushina, or because of this incident, Hiruzen Sarutobi was startled, so that Uzumaki Kushina was not allowed to come to school for a while. Time passed quickly after school was over and Uchiha Makoto was sent home. Uchiha Kage also came to the family place of the Sarutobi family. Although the Sarutobi clan is not a family of blood following the limit, but before Konoha, it is the same as the Shimura clan, and it is a large family in the country of fire. Although it is not as good as the three clans of Chiensho, Uchiha, and Hyuga, among the remaining families, the Sarutobi clan is one of the best, and even the friendship between the three clans of pigs, deer, and butterflies is caused by Sarutobi a family to witness. Don't doubt, this is the official explanation, not the Sarutobi Shimura 2 clans, which were originally small clans, but because of their power, they expanded the clan. Madara Uchiha was excited when he heard Senshu Hazuma say that Sarutobi and Shimura joined the two families, and said that it was a big family. And after Hiruzen Sarutobi became Hokage, he also wanted to weaken the existence of the Sarutobi clan. It's like in the future, even Konohamaru's teacher will find other teachers instead of arranging people from his own family to teach. Under normal circumstances, choosing a basic enlightenment teacher is to let the excellent ninjas in your family do it. Even in many families, there are teachers who specially come to enlighten the children. Obviously, at that time, the Sarutobi clan no longer had an enlightened teacher. What is this? When people are ruthless, they don't even let themselves go? However, at this time, the Sarutobi clan was still a prominent family in Konoha. Without the support of the Sarutobi clan, his situation would probably be even worse than it is now. Come to Sarutobi, water, Z. Source, Quan 6, 5, 6, 6" 1. 8 foot, 9, 6. Preparation? Underscore use. Turn to group 7, 6 6, 0, 1, 8, 32. 0 Rizeo's house, Uchiha Kage saw the man who had just returned home teacher. There are also mistresses who have met several times, but what surprised Uchiha the most is that Tsunade, Orochimaru and Jiraiya are here at the moment. You know all three of them, and then you will be your senior brother and senior sister. Sarutobi Hibiki introduced Uchiha Kage. After that, you will fight with Orochimaru and let me see how strong you are now. What level? Uchiha Kage was also taken aback when he heard the words, Hiruzen Sarutobi let himself fight Orochimaru? Is it really just that? Soon, Uchiha Kage also reacted before. Orochimaru thought he would become his disciple now. In this situation, it seems that Orochimaru really needs an explanation, and the best way is probably to show his strength in front of Orochimaru. I will work hard. Thinking of this, Uchiha Kage's face also showed a firm look. Fight with Orochimaru? This might be an interesting thing. The current Orochimaru should still have not reached the threshold of the legendary shadow, but it is already very powerful compared to the general elite Jonin. Under such circumstances, it is almost impossible for him to defeat Orochimaru. What? Orochimaru is afraid of illusions? Afraid of writing round eyes? Just kidding, that's the soul-damaged Orochimaru, okay? The current Orochimaru does not have any reincarnation technique, and the soul is not as fragile as the future under such circumstances. The effect of Sharingan on Orochimaru is quite limited. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh so much I love you. Episode 58 Uchiha stunning performance. Uchiha Kage and Orochimaru were opposite each other. Sarutobi Hizen, Jiraiya, and Tsunade stood watching, and even Sarutobi Shinosuke, who had recently been catching dogs and cats in the village, returned home at this moment and watched the battle of the two. Brother Orochimaru, please give me more advice. Uchiha Kage said with a smile. Orochimaru nodded slightly. In fact, he is also very curious about Uchiha Kage. According to the information obtained by Tsunade and himself, this guy is very good compared with his childhood. He is no worse, or even better. Uchiha Kage quickly formed the seal, then took a deep breath and spit out a huge fireball that attacked Orochimaru. The speed of the seal is good. Sarutobi Hizen saw the scene and nodded with satisfaction. Although the speed of the seal does not mean everything, whether it is him or Danzo, the speed of the seal is not very fast. The speed of the seal is enough. It really needs 5 seals per second. It looks very handsome. It seems to be very useful. But in the view of Sarutobi Hizen, there is no need to pursue these. Consider using ninjutsu at the right time, which is the most appropriate thing to do. Merely printing fast enough is useless. Of course, this also needs to be taught by a teacher. Otherwise, it seems that my teacher does not have much place to teach Uchiha Kage. Facing the huge fireball that Uchiha Kage spewed out, Orochimaru didn't dodge. But when the fireball was about to hit him, Orochimaru turned into mud and disappeared. Tsunade and the others could clearly see that Orochimaru had formed an earth avatar mark without hesitation. At the same time, Orochimaru's body appeared on the other side, his hand suddenly stretched, and a large number of snakes attacked Uchiha Kage, and Uchiha Kage's riding wheel didn't know when it has been turned on. Facing the attack of Orochimaru, Uchiha Kage also directly changed his direction and engulfed the snakes with the fireball. Sure enough, it's Sanguyukshuenyan? Sarutobi Hizen silently looked at Uchiha Ying's eyes. It's not easy to open Sanguyukshuenyan. Under normal circumstances, when the Uchiha family opens the Sharingan, they have the strength of Genin or even Chunin. When the Sharingan is opened to Sangu Jade, it is generally at the level of Shainin. Such ninjas are not many even among the Uchiha clan. According to Sarutobi Hizen's knowledge, There are currently more than 200 people in the Uchiha clan who have opened their eyes. It seems that less than 20 people have opened the three-goose jade riding wheel. As for the kaleidoscope riding wheel, there seems to be no one. However, is it really not? Even Sarutobi Hizen can't make any guarantees. It can be seen that it is extremely difficult to open the three-hook jade riding wheel eye. However, at this age, Uchiha Kage opened the Sanga jade riding wheel eye, which even Sarutobi Hizen did not expect. As expected of my disciple. It's just that Sarutobi Hizen seems to have forgotten that the disciple Uchiha Kage, he has not taught for a day. Seeing his own snake, he didn't do anything to Uchiha Kage. Orochimaru was not surprised if he couldn't even do this. Uchiha Kage wouldn't be worthy of being his junior. As a genius, Orochimaru has his own pride. He spit out the Kusanagi sword directly from his own mouth in this scene. Tsunade frowned slightly and couldn't help complaining. This guy, Orochimaru, is as disgusting as ever. Sarutobi Hizen was also a little silent. The Kusanagi sword is a good sword, and it is one of the best weapons in the entire ninja world. Even if it is a psychic beast by itself, when it encounters the Kusanagi sword, it will also be shriveled. In fact, he still understands Orochimaru very well. For the current Orochimaru, the bonus of Kusanagi sword is very large. If you forget to take it with you, it will greatly affect your combat effectiveness. This method is actually worthwhile for a ninja. It's just that this process, as Tsunade said, is still disgusting. On the other side, Uchiha Kage's flamboyant fireball technique has also ended. Facing Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword, the corner of Uchiha Kage's mouth also showed a smile, and the Ichian sword also appeared in his hand. This sudden appearance made several people look at each other in dismay. Tsunade and Jiraiya, in particular, looked suspiciously at their teacher. Their teacher is not strong in combat among the previous generations of Hokage, but he also has his own advantages. He knows the most ninjutsu. Even the second generation Hokage does not have as many ninjutsu skills as Sarutobi Hizen. Of course, among them, Senju Tobarama is disdainful of learning some ninjutsu that he thinks is useless. What Senju Tobarama is good at is creating his own ninjutsu. Ordinary ninjutsu, he doesn't bother to create, and forbidden art is Senju Tobarama's favorite. Look at what I'm doing? I don't know. Sarutobi Hizen was also a little depressed. Did he really think he knew everything? In the case of Uchiha Kage, whoever encounters it will be anxious. At this time, Uchiha Kage and the long sword in Orochimaru had already collided, and the Ichian sword in his hand showed a posture that was no less than Kusanagi sword D. Please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh, so much I love you. Episode 59_Chidori Ryu. Is this sword also a Kusanagi sword? Tsunade asked hesitantly. There is not only one Kusanagi sword, but a general term for a series of famous swords. Orochimaru will collect a lot of Kusanagi swords in the future. Even in addition to the ten-fist sword that was blown to the sky by countless people, it belongs to the Kusanagi sword. Sasuke's Kusanagi sword was also obtained from Orochimaru, and Uchiha Kage's sword turned out to be in no way inferior to the Kusanagi sword, so this might also be a Kusanagi sword. Well, it should also be a Kusanagi sword. Some Kusanagi swords are very special. It is even said that the legendary ten-fist sword does not even have a real body, so this sword appears directly in Uchiha Kage's hand, which seems to be an explanation what happened. After thinking for a while, Sarutobi Hizen continued. Uchiha Kage didn't know that Kusanagi sword had been evaluated as Kusanagi sword by Sarutobi Hizen. At this moment, he is immersed in the battle with Orochimaru. One thing to say, Orochimaru's strength is indeed very good. Orochimaru has studied swordsmanship, although he is more balanced in more aspects. Whether it is swordsmanship or ninjutsu, Orochimaru is very balanced. In this respect, he was no match for White Fang, and there seemed to be no one in the entire Konoha who could compete with White Fang in swordsmanship. But at this time, Orochimaru's heart was turbulent. Before, he relied on the Kusanagi sword to go nowhere. Even if he faced Baya, he had the confidence to face it. After all, the short blade in Baya's hand was not bad, but not as good as his own Kusanagi sword. Only this time, the sword in Uchiha Kage's hand shocked Orochimaru. He did not expect that the opponent still has a sword in his hand that is not inferior to the Kusanagi sword. And the most important thing is that Uchiha Kage's power and speed are not inferior at all. Even in swordsmanship, there is a faint meaning of suppressing himself. This is interesting. Maybe this junior brother, in the future, will replace White Fang and become Konoha, the person who is best at swordsmanship, maybe. However, this swordsmanship is not a common swordsmanship among Konoha. Is it inherited from other places? Of course, this is also normal. After all, there are many strange swordsmanship and ninjutsu in the ninja world. The Uchiha clan, and even a famous family, have swordsmanship that they do not know, which is also a very normal thing. It's just that Orochimaru cares that he can't suppress Uchiha Kage in swordsmanship. In this case, wouldn't he be embarrassed? Wouldn't it be embarrassing to do so? Thinking of this, Orochimaru's eyes became extremely serious. He kept waving the Kusanagi sword at Uchiha Kage, and at the same time used his exclusive Orochimaru ninjutsu in his left hand from time to time. For a while, it also gave Uchiha Kage a headache and was in a state of embarrassment. Orochimaru is serious at this time. Jiraiya also showed a serious look and said, "Our little junior brother's strength is very good. Orochimaru's swordsmanship is among the best in Konoha. but look at his appearance, does not seem to gain an advantage. It is quite rare to be able to push Orochimaru to this level, Sarutobi Hizen said in a deep voice. Orochimaru is his most promising disciple. He also knew nothing about Orochimaru's strength. Now Orochimaru is serious, and Uchiha Kage can perform like this, which is already very good. Orochimaru was serious, and Uchiha Kage was helpless for a while. Orochimaru is worthy of being Orochimaru, and his strength is definitely not comparable to the Yunren he faced at the beginning. Especially those ninjutsu, it is really disgusting. Not only do I need to resist the attack of Kusanagi sword, but I also worry about being bitten by snakes from time to time. Sure enough, fighting with Orochimaru is really disgusting. Compared with the larger snake pills, Tsunade and Jirai are also much easier to deal with. Humph. After Uchiha Kage cut off the 3 snakes that attacked him, he used his sword to resist Orochimaru's attack, and then broke away from Orochimaru. There is no way. The way of fighting in Orochimaru is really disgusting. Even when you are fighting, you still need to worry about whether a poisonous snake will appear on the ground and bite you. For ordinary people, it is really difficult to be an opponent of Orochimaru. Staring at Orochimaru not far away, who was not chasing after the victory, Uchiha Kage snorted coldly, and quickly formed a seal with one hand, and the long sword in his right hand was lingering with lightning soon after. His body was haunted by lightning. Chidori flow. After Uchiha Kage drew Chidori, he didn't do anything. He did not improve Chidori in the direction of Rachel, but chose Chidori Ryu. What is the use of strong piercing ability? The most important thing is to increase the speed through the Chidori flow, and at the same time increase the defense ability to a certain extent. Ninja is a profession with high attack and low defense. As a crispy, he naturally needs to worry about the safety of his life. It is naturally better to have certain means of defense. This is Thunder Attribute Chakra mode? No, it uses the change in the nature of Thunder Attribute Chakra to stimulate his own body, and some borrows from Raikage's shadow. Sarutobi Hizen murmured please ask for flowers, ask for a monthly pass, ask for an automatic subscription. Oh so much I love you. Episode 60_Flying Thor? Sarutobi's expectations. It looks good. Tsunade stared at Uchiha Kage's figure with a satisfied look on his face. After all, Uchiha Inrua, water, use, intermediate? Transfer, group, 7'6", 6, 018, 3, 2, 0 is also what she taught and can fight Orochimaru. It has been pretty good for so long. And this ninjutsu should be an A-level ninjutsu. I have never seen it before, and it may even be created by Uchiha Kage himself. As expected of a shadow. No wonder Grandma is so optimistic about him. It is even believed that Uchiha Shadow has the potential to be comparable to Uchiha Madara in the future. Now it seems that it is really possible, at least the same age. It is absolutely impossible to do like Uchiha Kage. It's really a good ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hizen stared at the suddenly accelerated Uchiha Kage and nodded with satisfaction. It seems that he has earned it this time. Uchiha Kage's potential is far better than he imagined in the future. His future is limitless, and the future belongs to Uchiha Kage. However, with such a tyrannical thunder-type chakra, can Uchiha Kage's undeveloped body withstand it? Of course, Uchiha Kage's training is very hard, and his physical quality has far surpassed his peers. Even the direct bloodline of the Chancho clan and the 2 Hyuga brothers are not as good as Uchiha Kage in terms of physical fitness. But he is still a child after all. The thunder attribute is the most difficult to control among the chakras of many attributes, which is still a bit difficult for today's Uchiha Kage. After that, I still need to remind Uchiha Kage that it is better not to rashly use this trick to stimulate the body. It is impossible to guarantee that there will be no sequelae. After all, Uchiha Kage is still young and has some huge potential as long as he doesn't fall in the middle. No one knows how far Uchiha Kage can grow in the end. Uchiha Kage was bathed in lightning and sprinted towards Orochimaru, just as Sarutobi Hizen had guessed. At the moment he was suffering from the ravages of lightning. This feeling made his body very uncomfortable. Chidori Ryu, for him now, is still a bit difficult, and it seems that the training in the future cannot be stopped. Ding! Because of Chidori's acceleration, Uchiha Kage's speed at this moment was obviously beyond most people's expectations. He didn't seem to have reacted, and the Itian sword stabbed directly into Orochimaru's body. Uchiha Ing, who just found this scene, was not at all happy. His face changed instead, and the secret sound was not good. As expected, when the sword of leaning on the sky seemed to pierce Orochimaru's chest, Orochimaru's body made a pung sound, disappeared. However, his original position was like a mud swamp, which caused Uchiha Kage's body to sink. Is it a shadow clone? Uchiha Kage's face is not very good looking. The shadow clone is a ninjutsu created by the second generation Hokage, or it was specially developed to restrain the Uchiha clan in the future. This time, I didn't notice when Orochimaru used the shadow clone. When Uchiha Kage was gradually trapped in the quagmire, Orochimaru's body also drilled out from the ground on the side. However, there is not much joy. He admires Uchiha Kage very much. The previous ninjutsu move is quite good, but this guy is too immature.